I've read every book written by Rachel Harrison, including her upcoming release that publishes in September, so I thought it would be fun to rank her full-length novels. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Carrie. I mostly post thriller, mystery, and horror book content, so if you're interested in that, make sure to give me a follow. The first book I read by Rachel Harrison is Black Sheep. This is actually the UK cover. I just like it better, and also is the only paperback version of the book I could find. This book follows Vesper, who at age 18 decides to leave her family. They're part of a very religious community, and she's told that if she leaves, she cannot return. But then one day she receives an invitation to her cousin Rosie's wedding, and there's something nagging inside of her that she just needs to go back. I remember at the time that I read this, I thought it was absolutely absurd and ridiculous, but I still flew through it. Looking back, I have an entirely new appreciation for this book, especially having read more of her books now. I totally understand her writing style and really just think this is a great book. That being said, Black Sheep is still 5th place. Before I continue, I would like to note that Rachel Harrison is an auto-buy author for me, so I don't think any of these books are bad, and I actually really love all of them in their own unique ways. Such Sharp Teeth follows Rory, who moves back home to take care of her twin sister whose husband just left her. After a night out where she bumped into her high school boyfriend, Rory hits an animal, and she goes to investigate, and it attacks her. She survives this attack, but now she is forever changed and has to learn how to live with her new identity. I think this book would be perfect for people who love romance in their horror, and I really enjoyed the relationship between Rory and her sister. I just thought it was super realistic and well done. I also thought this book was a little bit more emotionally deep than I had anticipated. I even teared up at one point. Such Sharp Teeth gets 4th place. Publishing on September 10th, we have So Thirsty. This book follows Sloane, who's not looking forward to her birthday, but her husband surprises her with a weekend getaway, but the trip is not for the two of them. The trip is for Sloane and her troublemaker friend Naomi, who she hasn't seen in a while. Sloane thinks she's just going to catch up with her friend and drink some wine and avoid the relationship problems she's having with her husband, like his infidelity. But Naomi, being who she is, decides she wants to party it up, so she takes Sloane out for a night on the town and they meet these mysterious people. After this wild night out, they are forever changed and they have to deal with their new identities. I flew through this book. It was so fun. It was fast-paced. It was really gory and maybe a little too smutty for my liking. And that is why So Thirsty gets 3rd place. Okay, 2nd and 1st place are far too hard, and I'm really not sure I can differentiate the two because they are so different, but they're both 5 stars. Cackle follows Annie, who is recently dumped by her long-term boyfriend, so she moves to a new town to start over. Her new apartment seems to be infested with spiders, but all is well because the people in the town are super nice and welcoming to her. One day, Annie meets a very elegant and magnetic woman named Sophie, and she starts a friendship with her, but the rest of the townspeople don't seem to like Sophie one bit. As the two of them grow closer, Annie realizes that Sophie is basically ageless and has some unique powers. This book is like if Hocus Pocus took place in Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls. I had such a weird sense of nostalgia while reading it. I really enjoyed the relationship between Annie and Sophie. I thought this was just such a magically delightful read. And because this is a ranking video and I feel like I have to, Cackle is my 2nd place. The Return is my most recent full-length Rachel Harrison book, and it follows Julie, who has been missing for 2 years, when one day she returns and she doesn't remember where she was or what happened to her. So Julie is reunited with her friends after 2 years of separation, and they decide to go to this remote inn to reconnect. Pretty quickly, the friends realize that Julie is not who she used to be. She used to be a vegetarian, and now she eats meat. She smells bad, and she's just super skinny. But it's been 2 years, and Julie's obviously been through a lot, even if she doesn't remember, so they decide to brush it off until they can't anymore. Who or what is Julie now? I loved the relationship dynamics of the friends in this book. I thought it was so real and raw, and how you would act if you were reconnected with your friends that you haven't seen in a while, especially if one of them had been missing for 2 years. It was atmospherically dark, had a ton of layers to it, and it was overall just an incredibly creepy and awesome read. The Return is my favorite Rachel Harrison book. I'd also like to note that I've read Bad Dolls by Rachel Harrison, which is a collection of short horror stories, and I've listened to the Audible exclusive called The Veil. Both of those are not full-length novels, so I decided not to include them in this ranking video, but I do think they're great and that you should check them out. If you haven't read a Rachel Harrison book, this is your sign to definitely pick one up, and if you have read them, let me know which one is your favorite, and definitely pre-order So Thirsty.